All right, today we go. Get these alerts off. I just turned the fan on because it's a little warm in here. But good evening, everyone. It is Trending Tuesday, or Triumph Tuesday, sorry about that. And of course, we are trying to do Tuesday and Thursday night podcasts because we've got a lot of listeners and viewers who say, hey, we want to see you sometimes at night. So that's what we are doing. But good evening, everyone. This is Carol, so AKA Naughty Boss, live with two
Sistas. Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. You have one sister that's warm, wearing a real pretty tank top, and the other sister, I am that person that is always cold. But with that being said, you know, the thermometer dropped abruptly, although it wasn't too bad, but it's just been a very bitter, bone chilling type of day, and I just can't seem to warm up.
Yeah, it was a little cooler today, a little breezier, but I was jamming all day long in the office, working on projects, working on Naughty Boss's 60-day challenge, real shift challenge, because I decided to change the names. I've been revamping all my paperwork and all that happy jazz, keeping everyone excited and abreast of what's going on. And I'm excited because the challenge starts when you want to start. So I talked about maybe doing the official kickoff this week, but you know, I always like to do things unexpectedly. So when people start a challenge of any kind of challenge, you know, they're excited about it. They want all the info right then and there and now. But the interesting kind of twist that I am doing is life isn't always predicted. When you do these challenges, curveballs, and we learn firsthand, you know, which challenge we like, which challenge we didn't like. We both tried 75 hard. Like a fellow thriver, we were chatting, and the water obviously did not work that amount for me, and that's something that you do have to be mindful of. But also, I'm not a big fan. I like to be held accountable, and I don't mind having someone in my face when I really need it. But his persona, his vibe is just like in your face all the time. And that just didn't jive with me. So I wanted to, you know, I've tried a couple different challenges, tried to pick apart what I liked, what I didn't like. And one of the things that nobody seems to kind of grasp, and which I'm excited that we're going to be sharing, is for the unexpected. You know, life always throws you a curveball when you're doing a challenge. Life throws a curveball at you in life in general, and you've got to triumph over that, and you've got to find ways to renegotiate, renavigate, turn the wheel, switch the journey on. So what I love about this particular challenge is I'm going to be having part of that checklist, because everybody likes a checklist, whether you like a virtual checklist or like Jan and I are always pad and paper. We like paper. We like to physically hold on to something. That the checklist is also taking into consideration, you know, the deviations of life, the derailment. So there's actually 3 days that are grace days per the challenge. So you can, you know, oops, if I've got, you know, a big event that you know you're not going to stick to, or you're traveling, or you've been thrown a curveball, and most challenges don't allow you to do that. But life, it's all about challenges and redirecting, and how do you navigate. So I don't want everyone so super organized in the beginning. I want them like, this is what you got to do. This is your checklist. Get all your stuff together. But if you don't, you know, you're going to learn real fast, because I'm going to be throwing some curveballs, and I like that, because that's life. So I wanted it with a little different pizzazz. So definitely taking part of pieces of our journal that's going to be implemented. If you have not gotten the TwoSistas journal, we are going to obviously post that under our link. And what I love about the real part of it, which we were talking about, I've incorporated that with the actual challenge name. And I love that people, you know, liking that it's different already, getting a lot of feedback. And the cool thing about it is we're going to have a lot of people on there. And obviously we talk about the nutritional program, the gut health that comes with all the health and fitness. Also, you know, showing you different ways. It's not just saying, okay, you got to work out 20 to 30 minutes. Well, okay. maybe you've got that beginner that says, okay, well, what do I do? So we're going to show different things with really that are going to implement into your life without necessarily belonging to a gym. You still can belong to the gym, and that's good that you do that. But some people just, gym is not their jam. So they want to have something that, especially with the summer months and the warmer weather events coming to New England, they want something that's going to land and water. So it's going to be part of that, but also something that picks up and moves with you, whether you're traveling. A lot of people don't want to be dragging weights, right? So a lot of resistant bands, a lot of movement. We're going to use a noodle in the water, got all kinds of fun stuff planned. And I'm super excited. So I've been working on that all day long, along with sharing our TwoSistas journal, which Jan is the expert in that. So share away.
So the journal is a 75-page, really heartfelt, well thought out journal. And we've taken bits and pieces of what we like and really defined it in such a way that it's easy to follow. You don't have to print out the whole thing. I think we will at some point, not sure when. We will probably even put it up maybe on Amazon at some point, like who knows, but we wanted to offer it in such a way that it was, number one, affordable. Number two, that it contained all the stuff that you would want to look at. But the best part of that is that you could reprint it different pages at a time. Just something that was versatile, that was colorful. We are still working, and I may have mentioned this before, I believe I did, but I don't recall. I'm almost positive I did. We're also working on a package where you could, sit with us. We haven't figured out the time frame, but sit with us so that we can help you color code it for you. There, not all the pages, but personalize it more for you. Obviously, that would be a little bit more than the suggested price right now, $8.99. We're just really kind of working on the particulars of that, but that's really excited because we are creative. I love to be creative. I love color coding. I love doing color swatches, and who knows, like, that could be like a fun, get a couple girlfriends together and have a real journal party, so to speak. Like, there's just so many different things, and it's about also to bringing people together, like bringing all those little things together that kind of fit and adapt to your lifestyle, not somebody's diet plan, not somebody else's methodology, but something that you can adapt to your lifestyle. And that's what I love about the real REEL TwoSistas Wellness Journal. I just think it just kind of goes hand in hand, and we love that. We're so excited that we're able to
incorporate it.
Yeah,
exactly. And what I love about, even, personalizing the journal, which would be great gifts for people, to have their own personal journal with, maybe even, leaving segments, some things that we're going to talk about, leave some areas where it could be a great quote that we could leave blank, and it would be maybe their favorite quote. Maybe they know their friend or their family or their mom, their sister, their brother, their girlfriend, whatever it may be, daughter, and implement a favorite quote or something that is meaningful, that really connects the journal. I mean, there's so many great things in the journal as it is. I love the fact that it is printable, and you're right, you don't have to. And what I love about that is, we talked about that too, is I have so many journals where they're so pretty, you're almost afraid to write in them, because, if you're not writing somewhat neat and tidy, and then frequently I'm at my desk, I've got, a water, a beverage. Of course, now I'm doing ooh-wee, so I'm drinking that, and you spill, right? Who doesn't spill on a book? I do. So what I love about that is you can reprint that page. You can also, to preserve it, put it in the inserts, the clear plastic inserts, make a notebook out of it. So you've got it, you're preserving it. journals are great to hand down to your family, especially after you've filled them out, because it gives them an inside bird's eye view of what that relative was thinking about, or what, excited them, what maybe great quotes that they liked, maybe a piece of their life that you didn't even know about. So I think it's a great opportunity to, write in your own words, along with just sharing the different quotes and things like that. I absolutely love that. So of course it was a natural fit to combine it with the 60-day real shift challenge. The other key piece too is, ironically, I always say that, God gives us signs, or the universe gives us signs, whatever you believe in, they give you signs, right? So frequently, obviously, we use the word real, R-E-E-L, quite a bit, but we also use the word shift quite a bit. Shift happens because we know that, there's constant pivoting in our life. You've got to shift because, something gets screwed up, and exactly, shift happens. So what happened was, I was on a Zoom last night, and I had to finish it up this morning. Thankfully, it was recorded. And some of my business partners were trying to create different words that really embodied the season that they were in, and know that they needed a sign from God to shift their season, shift their moment. And the word shift kept coming up. And I said, oh my goodness, it's got to be inserted into the challenge. And we're super excited about that. We also hope to have some guest speakers within the private group. You can find the private group. You just click on, and we approve. You approve your membership to come on in and even just check it out. I have some people in there that are right now are just doing some plus line products from our company. Everyone's very much into and understands the versatility and the importance of collagen, especially as you age. So we've got the 3 different collagen products that are in there. So I've got people that are just doing that and that want to learn about the challenge. And maybe right now they're not all set to do the 3 steps, and that is okay. We want to make it versatile for everyone and really just show with them what this project has done to change lives for the better, starting with gut health, because gut health is the root of everything that is your machine, which is your body, which is you. And a lot of times you got to triumph over different things, right? You try different things. Ironically, I was chatting with a couple other friends today who have been off the product for some time now, and they're like, I just don't feel that good anymore. And I said, well, maybe it's time to rethink. And, what I can say from my own journey is that I was a nonstop thriver for a solid 5.5 years, took about 3 months off to kind of figure out my own health and wellness, tried different products to see, was my body craving something else? Did I have to make a shift in, my eating? And through that experience, I learned, regardless of whatever program you choose to do, we all need something, because we cannot, scientifically, it's proven that we cannot get the food that we need to actually fill in our nutritional gaps. So we know that. But the other key piece is really knowing that you got to work with the program. You can't just get involved in a nutritional program and say, well, okay, I'm doing it and I don't have to do anything else. No, you need movement. You still need to match your lifestyle with what you're doing. Maybe that is to, reduce your dairy. That was one of my key pieces. I had to really clean up the dairy, get rid of most of it. I'm about 90% dairy free, because dairy is a #1 cause of inflammation. And that's why I started feeling tight and bloated and just that yucky feeling. And then, of course, some people vegan, plant-based. That's the other thing that we talk about. A lot of people don't realize that a plant-based diet and a vegetarian diet are actually different. A lot of people think they're exactly the same, but they're different. So we're going to kind of go over the different lifestyles and making sure that, you've got the tools that you need to shift your lifestyle into a challenge that you're going to come out better than. And I promise that. The other key piece is, a lot of people say, they want to be a slave to the scale, or they want to be a slave to measuring themselves. The other cool thing about our challenge is you're only going to do that twice. The day one, you're going to weigh yourself and measure yourself. Some people just want to measure certain parts of the body. We don't, if you want to do the whole body, go right ahead. That would be your arms, usually your hip, your waist, and your legs. But, some people, even guys, like to do their neck too, because this challenge is not just for women, it's for guys too. So you'll do that day 1 and day 60, and that's it. So we don't want you to be a slave to, the scale, because everyone, because a lot of times what we talk about, right, Jan, is like you're losing that weight, but you're building muscle, and then you're like, well, what the hell's wrong with the scale? Throw that scale out. I'm going to go out and get a new scale. There's something wrong with that scale. I know there's something wrong with that scale.
Exactly. It's not about the scale. It's about the life that you gain. And I think if we thought of our wellness in different terms, we would have a healthier America, and I just want to segue back a little bit to the inflammation aspect of it. 95%, and I'm probably off a few degrees on that, but 95% of inflammation that occurs in the body, what happens is cancers and different diseases thrive off of that. So if you can reduce your inflammation by just giving up dairy, we're not saying giving it up completely. We're not saying you have to do this, this, and this. Like that is, I'm sorry, but that's a fact. Cut back a little bit. Maybe it's that, you have a cheese on your, a slice of cheese with your lunch and your dinner. So maybe you cut out the dinner one. Like dial it back is the best way to take control of your health in a way that suits your lifestyle. Nobody likes to give up their lifestyle. And how
about I tell people what the health on Netflix, which is a documentary about dairy. And I think that's when I literally wanted to puke. Literally wanted to puke when I was like, oh my God. And I just think of, the coagulation, as I call it, in your bloodstream. And, I was nauseated. And sadly, I think, we were, of course, brought up in the, late 50s, 60s, and everything was milk does the body good commercials, milk does, bones. And the whole thing's a damn myth. The whole thing is a damn myth. If you see this documentary, you'll understand what I'm saying. And then who's connected, like we talked about. You've got that. How ironic. The number one thing for those that sadly, are diagnosed with breast cancer, dairy is like the worst thing for cancer. Yet they've got pink ribbons on milk cartons. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's one of those, what do they call them? Oxymoron.
Yeah. Money, follow the money.
Yeah, follow the money trail. And the weird thing about, well, I shouldn't say the weird thing, going on a health quest is a journey to self-discovery. Maybe it's you get up a half an hour early just to get in your me time. Now, what does that me time mean? It can mean 10 minutes of exercise. Maybe it's 20 minutes of exercise. And while, maybe you're doing some squats, you're jamming in space there while you're scrolling, because, let's face it, obviously we are in a digital world. People love scrolling. I'm guilty of it every now and then, but, I've set new, because I'm on the computer all day long, I've had to kind of readjust my habits. And guess what? Readjusting your habits, although it's great to say, well, I'm not going to look at my cell phone when I get in bed. I'm guilty of that as well. But, I'm on the computer all day long. Got to back off on that blue light stuff. It's just, killing my eyes. But you could also save yourself time. You could also learn so much about yourself by doing that type of a renegotiation of your habits. So,
you know what I did today? So I was obviously working a lot on the computer, as I said, and I don't normally go on Facebook on my computer. I haven't done that for years because it's just so easy just to pick up the phone like we talk about. So I was working on one project on my phone on Canva, and then I was working, but I knew there was a couple of messages I had to get back to. I said, well, let me log on to Facebook. And I found that I scrolled less having it on the computer. And, I was using my phone to work Canva on some camera projects. I've got two different phones that I use for different projects, believe it or not. And I found that I didn't scroll as much. So I'm thinking, maybe that's the key. Maybe I try to not go on. I mean, I try to do my post and then be done with it. I'm mostly using it now for the messenger piece to it because it's just easy to chat with people that way versus, scrolling around or whatever. But, it's one of those things that you've got to kind of divot and triumph over a new strategy.
Right. Why not give it a try? Why not decide, you know what, hey, Mother's Day is coming up if you're a mom, or maybe you have a mom in your life that, maybe that's something that you do together, or sisters, whatever it may be, girlfriends, husbands, just do it. It's, do it for yourself. Do it for, that thing maybe that you've been thinking about, what is, maybe there's a new book out there. Obviously, I'm a book nerd. Maybe there's a new book that you want so bad, but you know what? It's like, oh, really, should I buy that? So maybe that's a little bit of an incentive, like, hey, if I, stick to some kind of routine for, let's say, 7 days or whatever time frame you pick during the 60 days, and you achieve that goal and you feel great about it. Oh my God, now I'm going to go out and get that book because it has so much more meaning to me. So, maybe choose something like that. Make it easy. Make it easy to follow. Set yourself little prizes, if you will. Sometimes I do that. And, for me, it's worked out great. And, one thing, just remember, one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself with all the little details. Don't feel like you have to do it all, but do something for yourself for sure.
Exactly. And, even if it means that you've got to find a new way to do something, and don't forget that, the triumphs, when you hear the word triumph, you automatically think of huge, big, monumental. A lot of triumphs are not monumental. They may be that you get up and you made your bed today. They could be that, maybe, you have been a recluse for what's been going on in our world, which is out of our control. And now all of a sudden things are, moving and people are getting back to living again, as I'm saying, going out. That was a big step for you. Maybe it could be that, you've been suffering from some sort of ailment or illness or physical limitations. And now all of a sudden you've got some good energy and you're feeling like, I'm going to add a little, like 10 minutes of walking, even walking around the house. So don't underestimate those little triumphs, even though the word triumph in itself sounds like this monumental thing. All triumphs, regardless of the level, how huge, how big, how small, should always be celebrated. And, pat yourself on the back. And those are the things that you want to add on to by the end of the week when you're celebrating Fantabulous Friday. So sometimes we have to kind of dig deep and say, you know what, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to find another avenue. I'm going to find another way to get me through this thing that has prevented me from doing where I want to be or get where I want to go. And now I've got to go a different path because life's not planned that way.
No, it's definitely is not planned. And the best thing about not planning something is to actually step out of your comfort zone and do something. So maybe ask yourself, what is that something that I want to do for myself?
Exactly.
Maybe it is getting the journal. Of course, we hope you get the real journal. Maybe it's getting up, like I said, a few minutes earlier, 15-30 minutes earlier than you normally do. Do something for you in a way that is not complicated, in a way that complements your lifestyle. And what better way than you being the orchestrator of creating that lifestyle on your own, but with support and help. I think that sounds pretty good.
I think so too. And it's good to know that you're locking arms with people that want to see you do well, want to see you succeed, want to cheer you on, but also keep you accountable. That's not the probably one of the biggest cases of triumphing over something is you held yourself accountable first. And then you said, that's not going to work that way. I got to try a different way. It's not working out. And you stick to it. You don't give up. You held yourself accountable and you found a new avenue to achieve whatever you were going after. So I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And on that note, we will be back tomorrow morning. We do have a guest on, Dr. Orlena, and it's 8 a.m. our time, and I believe 2 p.m. her time. So we're excited to have her on. She's on the other side of the world. Now, isn't that amazing?
Sure is. You can't ask for anything better than that, and this is one of the blessings of our podcast is we get to meet other entrepreneurs and those in health and wellness and authors, you name it, we meet them and we get to share them with all of our listeners and our viewers. So with that, we thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Like we said, we have a guest speaker on tomorrow. And that is what's tomorrow? Wealth Wellness Wednesday. You know what that means. So we'll chat about that as well. You guys have a good night. See you in the AM.
TwoSistas signing off. Bye, everyone.